Hello, MMA fans. This is the legendary Runk, along with,
Mr. Parka.
and this is Bloody Canvas Radio. This is our first show, and there's a lot of stuff to talk about. Specifically, I think the show is going to be more about the Strikeforce card that I missed the other day, but I caught a lot of the clips on YouTube. And for anyone thinking I'm a pirate, I actually have Showtime, so do not hate on my thing. Showtime doesn't actually put it on demand right away for me to watch. But yeah, there's a lot of news to talk about. Which one did you specifically want to talk about first, Dave?
The biggest news to me, the most exciting news is Overeem versus Brock Lesnar, I think, because I'm a big fan of the heavyweights.
Yeah, man, I really can't even tell you what's gonna happen. I mean, I think if Alistair can get gassed, I don't think Lesnar really has that bad of a gas tank, so I don't think that's a problem.
Lesnar got tired with Kane, though.
Yeah, I thought Kane was more tired, though. You know what I mean? And, well, obviously for legit reasons, because I don't know if I just said Shane. I meant to say Shane Carwin. But, yeah, it's like he was getting pounded, so I guess Shane Carwin had an excuse.
Shane Carwin's gas tank was iffy until he kind of proved himself with Junior Dos Santos, but he wasn't throwing hard like he did with Brock Lesnar. He was just getting the shit kicked out of him for 3 rounds.
Mm-hmm.
A little different.
Yeah, and what I think, no leg kicks or any of that stuff will be a problem with Lesnar because I think the takedown threat will be there. I don't think Alistair will be as cautious because I don't think that Lesnar has a true submission game, even though he submitted Shane Carwin. The most important thing is it's just two giants. What were you about to say?
Oh, I was just going to say, there's no way he's going to submit him. The only submission that will happen is if submission by punches because Overeem tapping from him.
Yeah, or like a late fight, like when people give up to a rear naked choke just because they don't have anything left.
Or they turn around, keep rolling over and shit until they get their back, and it's like, oh, I'm done.
It's kind of funny, like Lesnar's turning in. I mean, believe me, the guy would murder me, but it's like he's becoming the punching bag like Frank Mir was to him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's getting in those situations where he's getting overwhelmed. I actually think Frank Mir deals with it a little better. I mean, he just takes it in like one spot. He's not like getting thrown off his feet. Like, wow, I'm getting punched. He just gets stuck in the position. I feel.
I don't know, that Shane Carwin fight. He looked pretty bad. I think that he thought he was all right, but Frank tends to think he's more all right than he is. Sometimes I think.
Yeah, I think he's a little confident, but I don't know. It's like when he fails, he comes back and he knocks the guy out. And I forget who he's going to be fighting next. I can't believe. Oh, Nagara match.
He messed Roy Nelson up, and he used wrestling, which was kind of cool to see him do.
Yeah, I mean he's a good guy to keep around. I think like whether Lesnar or Overeem win or lose. I mean, depending on what Frank Mir does next, I think one of those could be a good fight for him, like a third match with Lesnar, or Alistair Overeem. Let's see how you do against Frank Mir's jiu-jitsu, and if Frank Mir were to get overwhelmed by a striker once again, to be pretty interesting. I know it's weird how we drifted in that, but the biggest story for me this week was the Nick Diaz fiasco with the UFC. He didn't show up to 2 press conferences. In Toronto, it's understandable.
What do you expect?
I think, or it was either Toronto or Montreal. He missed the press conference, and then he missed one in Vegas. And
yeah,
he
lives beforehand, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, I like the guy, and I think some of this stuff is interesting. He gets punished, but then they give him BJ Penn, which is actually probably a better matchup for him because BJ Penn will actually fight, and BJ Penn has there's more of a possibility he can get gassed, but maybe not because it's a 3-round fight. So
highly entertaining fight for sure.
You think it will?
I just mean the idea of it's amazing because they both have they're both good boxers and they both have great submission skills and they both kind of near each other. Didn't BJ Penn come from the Gracie? Didn't he get his belt from Gracie?
I can't remember. I thought he trained in the same gym as Frank Shamrock at
AKA. He doesn't anymore, but I thought he did originally got it, and then he left them. And now,
the one dude called him a sellout piece of shit or something.
Yeah, there's gonna be some beef in there.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, they were talking about it being a dream match. It's just one I never thought of, really, because BJ Penn bounced back and forth from
Yeah,
welterweight.
right.
You know,
Lightweight.
yeah, that's what I mean. You'd always bounce between those, so it was hard to tell where he was going to stay, and he wasn't holding a belt. So Nick Diaz was progressing, so I just never thought of that match happening. But it's a good thing. But the same card, being on the same card when you just got punished is weird.
A lot of people think they do that crap on purpose. Dana White could have figured that was probably going to happen and pre-planned. Dana White and all those guys have that stuff pre-planned. Some people were even going as far to think that the MMA analyst on YouTube, he's a good channel, he thought that they were going to hype up, how Brock Lesnar brings all the draw in. People were going to hype up that match with Overeem, get Overeem exposed to, mainstream. People were going to be like, who is this guy? He's huge. He's awesome. He's a kickboxer. And they're going to be like, Brock Lesnar's injured. He's sick. He's never fighting again. Step in Shane Carwin, step in Frank Mir, take the fight. Just to give a lot of exposure to Overeem to hype him up with Brock Lesnar's name.
Yeah, I just think it's a little crazy how much in advance they put their fights. I mean, December's a big length away, and especially with Lesnar, it would be almost more comfortable to see someone like Lesnar have take something on short notice just to jump in there and everybody be sure he's going to fight. And that fight is very important because it's in December, at the end of a year when they're not having that good of a year pay-per-view numbers wise. It's they're every year they have more than they did the last year, but there's just bigger things. I mean, even if they wouldn't be making as much money on pay-per-view, they just got a Fox deal, so that's a lot of money right there. And they even probably have even this year they had more versus cards and other TV deals and they even have one more Spike deal while they still have this Fox deal. They have the Ultimate Fighter coming up, so they're getting a lot of exposure in other areas. Wow, I almost lost my stuff. How did you feel about the UFC Rio event?
I thought it was a pretty good event. They even set up. It seemed like a lot of those fights were set up for the Brazilians to win, but I thought it was pretty crazy that Nedkoff beat Louise Kane. I thought it was kind of funny in a way because you get this guy. I've never seen him fight. I heard things about him. His first debut, and he just looks like an awkward kind of guy, and he's just throwing punches, and he actually got him, and just Louise Kane kind of crumbles under the pressure.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of Gamborian, not that that guy. Gamborian's not the most intimidating guy, kind of a shorter guy in stature, and then he was laying a couple people out or beating Leonard Garcia before when I used to think Leonard Garcia was amazing. I mean, the guy just gets handed victories, but I don't know. Yeah, I thought that was pretty surprising. The problem in that match was that Louise Kane, kind of handed it to him. He backed off. He should have had more killer instinct. He had the guy, I felt against the fence, and it almost reversed position. You know what I mean?
I didn't know, but that was one of the. It was just he wasn't aggressive, what they saying, but I thought it was funny. The end knockout looked so awkward because he tried to jump away and he bumped into the cage. My dad was watching it with me, and he actually started laughing when he saw the replay.
Yeah, it's like people get stunned and then they look like doofuses. and another similar back and forth. But I thought they were both showing good killer instinct. It kind of reminded me of the stand up at the beginning of the Babyface Assassin match the other day. It was Brendan Schaub and Antonio Nogueira. It was nice little back and forth for a little, and then someone gets stunned, and I forget who it was that mentioned that Brendan Schaub looks like he has a small head for heavyweight.
That was me. My friend said it to me. He said, I was like, what about Schwab? And my friend Omar was like, his head's way too small to be a heavyweight. That dude's going to get knocked out.
Yeah, now when I talk about him and Mitrione, we're not ever talking about the craziest athletes ever, but Mitrione, I mean, I think he has a real good thing going. I like his boxing, and I like his size. I like his personality.
He's a funny guy.
Yeah, I mean, he's to me, top 5 in heavyweight personality, definitely. And he's gonna be a UFC top 5 guy if he keeps, but he needs that one big win. I mean, the last guy he beat wasn't a big deal. What'd you say, dude?
He's fighting Chet Congo. If he beats Chet Congo, that will put him up there. He'll get a top 5 then after that.
Yeah, especially because Czech Congo had a hot victory at that pay-per-view. I mean, if that victory wouldn't have happened like that, that pay-per-view I was even at wouldn't have been as big. And like Dana White was saying, oh, top to bottom, it was a good card, like for even prelims. And I kind of disagree. Some were lackluster, but the Matt Mitrione fight and the Czech Congo Pat Barry fight was amazing. For people that didn't see that, definitely check that out on YouTube, even if it's just a clip. I know we're running through this, and it was a couple weeks ago, but the Ross Pearson Edson Barboza fight was pretty entertaining. I'm not even sure if that should have got fight of the night, because I thought Rusimar Polaris and Dan Miller should have got it. If you saw that weird fight, Rusimar Polaris had history. What do you think about that when he did
Polaris,
that?
man, I think he's kind of dirty. I mean, he held that leg lock too long. He's just every time he fights, something awkward happens. He complains about the crease. He holds the leg lock too long. He grabs the fence, gets warned 800 times, and Herb Dean, best referee in the sport apparently, everyone says, warns people too many times. And I don't know, but
I wonder.
He should have took the point right there instead of.
I wonder if a guy shaves his legs like would say like Colgate shaving cream. I wonder if that does the next day like feel a little greasy, or if soap just does the job. I mean, because you ever shave and like you don't like wash your I don't know if you clean shave ever, and like if you don't wash your face real good, it feels greasy as fuck.
Yeah, I'll shave sometimes and then I'll go jogging and the sweat comes and you get real slippery on the face real bad.
Yeah, like a after existing type of thing.
Yeah,
that
sure.
lingers around. And then looking back, this card was pretty good. The crowd was super enthusiastic. Forrest Griffin, if we're talking about like stock reports like Sherdog, the stock just definitely looked down. He's having too many of these things where he's getting punched in the face. He doesn't hover up like a lot of people. His arms like stick out. It's almost like he's having a seizure once he gets punched.
He looks like he gives up now when he gets hit. Problem is, he just never really had that big a knockout power for that weight class, and he's such a big guy. He should be knocking guys out. He should be, he's just too slow now. I just think that sport's passing him by.
Yeah, I think it's like just like a different level of athleticism the other guys probably have, more devastating strikers. He trains his butt off. We got to give him credit for that, and he became a champion. And I did score the fight against Rampage for Forrest. I don't know how you felt. I mean, I was kind of pulling for Forrest, so maybe I had some bias back then. But we're talking his prime was around that area. No matter what, he blew the sport up along with Stephan Bonner, and he became a relevant fighter on top of that. He's not just some guy to throw on the card. I mean, he beat a couple guys. I mean, Tito's out of his prime. And, I mean, even the Rich Franklin thing, I'm like, that was all size. So hopefully he gets a couple more decent fights, and it's nice that Hua looked good and got another knockout on his record. It adds to his cred, and he still seems like he has the confidence to beat a guy like John Jones.
Yeah, they're saying that, when he fought John Jones, he came in out of shape, but in reality, he caught a flying knee right away, right off the bat, and he was just messed up. And, speaking of when guys get hurt right in the beginning, they look like shit the whole fight. That happened to Bigfoot Silva when he fought last. He got clocked right away, and he was done. In the interview, he said all he was seeing was shadows. He couldn't really see.
Oh, he got knocked the fuck out.
He got fucked out.
Yeah, that was definitely nice. And the last fight I wanted to mention, Anderson Silva kind of made Okami look like a fool with the jab again, like he kind of did against.
He's stepping into those jabs a lot more than people are. They're not jabs. He's coming in with them hard. And
I mean, he's loading the fuck up. Yeah, and that's why
jabs.
And he's saying like by putting his arm down there, like it's a different kind of style, and like he's getting a different type of power and a look, and he can read more what his opponent's going to do. He said something like that. I'm paraphrasing. For anyone listening, I'm by no means a fight expert. I like MMA because it's like thrilling, entertainment, personalities, just everything combined.
I agree.
But Anderson Silva, he would beat John Jones. That's after seeing that. Now, not that Okami's so good, but seeing what he does to people, and that if he puts in a lack of effort, like he's never in danger. He was in danger against Chael Sonnen. I don't know what that was all about. If it's Chael Sonnen's skill, the rib injury, or the fact that he's trying to submit him. Not sure, but I'm thinking he like John Jones, I don't think can just do that, like toy with someone. I think he eventually gets the better of the two when he's fighting someone.
Chael Sonnen has a better gas tank than John Jones. I know people are going to be like, oh my God, you don't even know this. But, You know, a lot of people were complaining that John Jones was tired in round 3 with Stephan Bonner. John Jones finishes fights quick, but if they go on a long time, he'll get tired like anybody else. And I think Anderson Silva gets tired too, but I don't know. Be a good fight.
I'm thinking John Jones is has a killer instinct that'll protect him from that type of stuff. His style is crazy. Now, his well-roundedness is maybe better than anybody's, but it's like what Anderson Silva is good at, is just the fucking striking, and and how he can hit you in weird areas and hurt you with a punch that seems like it shouldn't be that bad of a punch. That's why I think he's the best. And believe me,
I agree.
You know, things about them each bother me. I just don't like John Jones' personality. Anderson Silva Anderson Silva in a fight, you know what? That's the difference. In the last card, other cards when he's showboating or trying to help someone out, he pisses me off.
Me too.
When he looked angry at his opponent when he's loading up that right, I think it was a right against Okami, he just looked like motherfucker, step in, I'm gonna punch your face off. That's what I kind of liked about him. Instead of it wasn't being the whole let me
that pissed me off.
Yeah, it did, and because he embarrassed Forrest so bad, I can see. I don't know if Forrest felt disrespected. I can see why he ran out. Some people probably run Forrest run and all that jazz. I don't think he ran out because of that, but it was just so embarrassing, and it'd almost be like being in a street fight. And imagine someone antagonize you in front of you instead of just beating your ass, verbally.
They humiliated you too, as well. You know, they stripped you of your character, and then they just made you, and then they beat your ass at the same time.
Yeah, because he does that shit, and then he bows after the fight.
Damian Maia, he was showboating, dancing, then bowing. I wouldn't have bowed to him. He tried to bow to Chael Sonnen, and Chael Sonnen was just just shook his hand. You know, Chael Sonnen was like, fuck you. Just shook his hand. That's all he could do.
Yeah, speaking of that, I was trying to go on Twitter and see if Chael Sonnen said anything lately. I don't know if you got a Twitter. He's definitely a funny one-liner kind of guy in there, so for anyone listening, you got to go get Chael Sonnen's Twitter. And he's so cool, he follows nobody. I've never met a guy that follows zero.
He's hilarious, though, in his interviews. The shit he says is unspeakable, but it's funny.
Yeah, dude, I actually saw a cartoon where someone was taking excerpts from his video with Ariel Helwani, and someone drew a cartoon of the Nogueira brothers feeding a bus of carrot.
It's no, this is real. This really happened. It was come on, man.
Yeah,
he's 3-2.
What the genius thing about that interview is it kind of probably let people know, okay, guys, you're in on the joke now. I fuck around, just let me talk my shit. That's what I got from the interview. He's I'm gonna talk heavy shit, but you don't have to take it so serious.
Hendo said it too. He's I think if anyone really knows Cal, they know he's just kidding. You know, they know he's kind of messing around.
Yeah, but then Frank Trigg, he's dude, I know Shale. He's definitely I think he thinks he's crazy, but I think he knows that Shale knows he doesn't really mean what he's saying, but he'll always say it straight face and stick by it.
He's a hell of an actor. He's a politician too, right?
Yep. Yeah, he was. I guess he had to drop out because money laundering. And I have no idea what that whole fucking thing is about. I hate reading about anything that has to do with the law or someone going to jail. It just confuses me with all the mumbo jumbo. Here's one thing I wanted to, because this is right after UFC's event, and UFC, they got to deal with Fox. UFC's going to Japan. Even when there's some other Asian upstart company right now too, and now UFC's smart, they're going to Japan. Yeah. But all this big news with the UFC, and we're all geeked about Alistair Overeem. He's in the UFC. Nick Diaz is in the UFC. He doesn't even get shipped. Yeah, Nick Diaz doesn't even get shipped back to Strikeforce. What do you think about UFC? And I know you made a comment on Facebook. What do you think about them fucking leaving Strikeforce in the dust, kind of?
They didn't really promote that event, and that was kind of sad, but I don't know. Is it because Barnett was headlining it? Does Dana White really not like Barnett? Are they really trying to get rid of Strikeforce permanently, or?
They took a picture together, and I saw him in this interview with Ariel Helwani, and he was he was just talking about one of his fighters, and I forget. He was talking about Nate Marquardt, how he's a nice guy, and he didn't really want to fire him, but he had to. And he's not brash and Josh Barnett. So it seems like he really hates something about Barnett's personality. And I love Dana White, but he's one of the most brash people in the world, so he should respect another guy's brashness.
Barnett is absolutely hilarious. I know people hate him for the steroid allegations, but here's how I feel about it. I'm not an MMA fighter. I never was in the situation. I don't want people to make comments about it unless they're in the situation, unless they're a professional athlete dealing with that kind of situation and seeing behind the scenes who's taking steroids, what they're doing. And you know what? That's really kind of like foggy in that area because maybe Barnett did test positive a couple times, but in that affliction event, you know how they had the ties with them. Maybe UFC said if you go on with this event, you're never ever going to have any clothing thing. You're going to be screwed, and you're losing money as it is now. So just let the made a deal with affliction and athletic commission. Make Barnett look like he tested positive again.
Mm-hmm. I don't know what could have happened. All I know is he doesn't. He's a big guy, but he doesn't look like Mr. Juice. I don't know if he's doing what everyone else does. What'd you say?
Tim Sylvia tested positive. He didn't look like it either. Chris Lieben?
Yeah, Chris Lieben was kind of ripped in that Bisping fight, though. But supposedly Lieben said he did it like right after his Alessio Sakara fight. So I don't know how long he was, but I mean he was like way more jacked. But Lieben looks like he's under a better whatever program now. He's definitely more built than he used to be, even if he's not doing steroids. But half these guys might be doing it because they're only tested right before the events.
Yeah, they know how to cycle on and off them. And some of the things test positive for steroids when they're not actually like they're just like over the counter shit. A lot of guys were confused. They said at first they didn't understand. And then with Bigfoot Silva that he needed to take this medication that would for his health condition. And it's really there's a lot, two sides to every story, and people that are going to make judgments like that without knowing the person or knowing all the details just need to stop.
My thing is like I kind of really don't care because I think it's mostly about skill. Chris Lieben can do all the steroids. He's not going to beat Anderson Silva, and Chris Lieben's my favorite fighters for people listening. But what needs to be done is it just needs to be testing all the time, very random. But that might cost money, and people just need to get it together and not do it because it's eventually going to hurt the sport. People got to look at what happens to baseball. I mean, this one dude looks like his life's ruined. That dude that was doing steroids with Lance Armstrong. I mean, people snitch on each other. It just becomes a whole ugly situation. Yeah, I mean, baseball got severely hurt by it. MMA is young, so I think Dana White should push hard. But they do test at every event. So I mean, and to me, I think a lot of guys do it because. I mean, that's a sport where you're truly going to the gym and your whole thing in between whatever your workout is fighting and sparring. And then you have matches where you get – I just think –
You get injured, too. You need the steroids to heal.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not an expert at the injuries, and I'm not an expert at the like injuries in baseball or anything. But it's like I just imagine a full contact sport like MMA is creating more injuries.
Oh yeah, you hear about people getting injured all the time. Like everyone's been injured at least once.
And you know what? I think MMA or UFC period is going to do the right thing because they're giving these guys health insurance. So
it's about. I didn't even know they didn't have health insurance. I never really looked into it. Never thought about it.
Oh, you didn't know? You didn't know? Yeah.
I knew they got it, but recently I didn't know they didn't have it before though.
Yeah, someone fucked up. Oh, what the fuck's his name? Jose Aldo kneed him in the face. Cub Swanson. Speaking of getting kneed in the face, I think he got kneed when he was training down at Jackson's camp, and Greg Jackson, not Rampage, but and he got fucked up. I think he had to I don't know if you get like $50,000 you can spend, but I heard he had to spend that whole thing on his face. So hopefully he doesn't get injured again. I mean, I'm just paraphrasing that report. I don't know. I've been going off on that stuff for a while. How do you feel about the Hughes finally giving an AKA guy a fight? Possibly. I think it's just a verbal agreement.
What was
that? Hughes is going to be giving a fight to Josh Koscheck, an AKA guy. How do you feel about that?
I think it's a pretty good fight.
Did you know Hughes was avoiding those guys for a while?
I didn't know he was avoiding AKA. That's why I was kind of like, what, come again? I didn't know, but think about it. He never did fight any of them. Mike Swick, Koscheck, and John Fitch. He never fought any of those guys.
Yeah, and he might dump Swick on his back. Swick. I think Swick's in a position where he's too frail. Fitch would beat Hughes, no doubt in my mind.
Yeah. I think Koscheck's going to beat Hughes.
You never know. It's just Hughes ain't a knockout artist, and I don't know. Fitch doesn't danger from submissions a lot, except maybe once against Luigi Fioravanti, if I even said his name correctly. Yeah, but so Josh Koscheck's back. He was looking to fight a middleweight. I think he's better at home, and now he has a high-profile matchup, so that's good for him. So, but did we talk about the Vitor Belfort Kung Lee?
No, we haven't. We just brushed against it.
Yeah, what do you think about that? I mean, Kung Lee was like Scott Coker's guy. It's another Strike Force thing. This company's definitely gonna dwindle, and I don't even think it's a smart match for Kung Lee.
Yeah, I think it's a terrible match for Kung Lee. It's freaking Vitor Belfort. I don't know. I just mean Kung Lee hasn't had he lost to Scott Smith. I know he was winning that time, but Scott Smith looked terrible in his last fight. Like we were making fun of him, we were saying his no head movement, flat-footed boxing, and he's just getting torn up. I don't know what the hell is that.
Scott Smith will always have a legacy, but he never improved, and I like that Nick Diaz even called him out after a fight, saying, "Man, you need to go train with some other guys or with some bums." I'm paraphrasing once again, but yeah, Vitor Belfort. I mean,
he's gonna mess him up. He's gonna knock him out.
He's too fast. You got to think about how more athletic, explosive, and a better boxer he is. Anything can happen, but Kung Lee. I mean, Frank Shamrock even said that his kicks don't really hurt. It's more of a flashy style. I mean, it's kind of weird that Frank Shamrock said that in an arm in which in a match in which he broke his arm. I don't know. It's still Kung Lee. He has a little bit of a fan base. It's going to be in San Jose, and I think Vitor Belfort might rip the fucking roof off that place.
Vitor, he's trying to get that title shot. He should be taking those fights. I mean, it doesn't ever look like he gets hurt. I know he has, in that fight lasted, his last fight with Akiyama? Were they going to feed him several more opponents? I don't think Akiyama was on his caliber. It's like somebody was in a forum was making fun of it. They're like, wow, who's Akiyama fighting next? Anderson Silva? I mean, every time he loses, they give him a better opponent.
Yeah, he did kind of have it rough, and arguably he lost his first match against Alan Belcher. Yeah, but I don't know. That should be a good one. I mean, it's exciting. It's two names. It's for Kung Lee's sake, it's in San Jose, and it builds. I think UFC's trying to build Belfort, honestly, and Kung Lee's a guy that makes movies. He's probably on his way out of the sport, even though he hasn't been in MMA that long. He's whatever his style.
He's a little older too, though, isn't he? Almost 40.
Yeah. He's funny as hell, man.
He's a cool dude. I seen he's like after he won that fight, he's like, I'm gonna go home and eat this whole box of cookies.
Yeah, that's how I feel, man. I mean, I was telling you how I was going to the gym, man. I'm slack. I can't even drink like a beer, and then I take like a 3-day break from the gym. One of the last things I want to talk about, Rampage always has something weird to say. I actually dig Rampage. He's a funny guy.
Probably my favorite light heavyweight,
Yeah, he's definitely sensitive, but he thinks John Jones is spying, and he mentioned that in his gym, he subtly said, "Oh, my hand," and then fucking reports went out that he broke his hand, and he did it on purpose because he felt like kind of paranoid, like something wasn't right. So, how do you feel about that, or do you think they're trying to hype a story? Because we know fighters are lie to us to try to hype something.
The thing is, I don't know. Rampage does not like the Greg Jackson camp. He's claimed that they're ruining MMA. They're making it boring. He doesn't like that camp at all, even though it's kind of maybe in his weight class they were with Rashad and John Jones. But even though John Jones can't be considered boring, I doubt it. Rashad really not too much anyways, and Carlos Condon's from Greg Jackson's camp, so Rampage was a little bit wrong about that, calling those guys boring.
Dude, fucking Melvin Gillard, man. You got Melvin Gillard and Condon.
What?
And Clay Guida, I mean, Clay Guida might lay and pray a little bit, but he does things within the fight that's kind of exciting.
He just bores the shit out of me.
He bores the shit out of you?
He didn't used to, I just don't know. But he's been winning a lot lately, so you can't hate on the guy for winning. I don't know. I just didn't.
Yeah.
It rubbed me the wrong way when he fought Dos Anjos, and Dos Anjos went to touch gloves in the beginning, and he wouldn't touch gloves. And then after he won the fight, he tried to give the guy a hug, and Dos Anjos said, "Get the hell away from me, dude! You won't even touch gloves now. You want to be best friends? Fuck off!" That's how I felt too.
Yeah, and you gotta almost feel like that because I mean, there's certain things like foot stomps, and when you have a guy pinned and you're a relentless wrestler, right?
Yeah.
Now Dos Anjos is a jiu-jitsu guy, so he should learn to, what to do, but it's like Clay Guida's doing those shoulder thrust strikes, and he actually broke his jaw in that match. And Dos Anjos didn't fight until he just fought, Jesus Christ, what the fuck, George Soderop.
Messed him up too.
Yeah, I mean UFC, they've been having a lot of knockouts lately, so I always enjoy it. Or just, it's like all the time. I mean, it's fighting. Someone's going to get fucked up. But I hate when someone's like, this card's going to suck. You know what? Jake Shields is fighting Ellenberger this week. These guys ain't fucking blowing up MMA, but guess what? I'm going to fucking watch it. I'm going to watch the undercard. No, I'm not. I'm going to a horror movie convention. But I will watch the replay.
Oh, which one? Horror Realm?
Yeah, I'm going to Horror Realm. So for all you non-MMA fans or if I mean, for all you MMA fans, we're into like horror movies, and I'm into wrestling. I do a wrestling podcast as well, and Mr. Parka does some like movie reviews, so we're into all types of shit.
We waste our time online a lot.
Dude, I get tons of head every second off hot broads. I'm just kidding. I should, because I'm a legend. Yeah, so I mean, basically that's all I can think about as far as the news go. I mean, the UFC on Fox thing, we'll see how that plays out. I do think it's huge for the sport.
Oh yeah.
And Guido's fighting Bendo on there. I think I don't know if it's on. I hope that's not on Facebook. That would be crazy.
I think that they're gonna probably hype up the fight for 30 minutes and then give the fight for the last 30 minutes. But the thing is, I don't know if that one's gonna go the distance. And I bet if it ends in the first, second round, they'll show the Guida Henderson fight.
Yeah, I think Hendo's gonna. Or I think Ben Henderson's gonna beat him. I think
impressive against Jim Miller. Shocked the hell out of me.
Because the thing about Ben Henderson, like, where's he bad at? And like, I just don't. He's like Condit to me. I see him getting out of a bad position.
I agree, and you know what? He was holding down Jim Miller, wasn't he? Beating the crap out of Jim Miller on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Jim Miller, he's no joke.
And something looked off about Jim Miller, but at the same time, there's other. Yeah, I mean, I was very surprised because Ben Henderson was looking almost like he could have got beat by Mark Bosak. It was a close fight, and even Mark Bosak was close against Jim Miller a few years ago. It's just like the improvement he did against Jim Miller was insane. But the thing about Jim Miller, he had all those wins in a row, but they were putting him against like that King of Prussia guy or whatever.
Yeah. Kamal Sharp. Yeah. I don't remember his name.
The up and coming jiu-jitsu guy, Charles Oliveira, I believe that's his name.
Yeah.
All those kind of guys, and like he wasn't fighting a level that even Melvin Gillard's fighting. But even Melvin Gillard, I mean, you toss him a Shane Roller, it's like, who's impressing me? Fucking Cowboy.
He looked great. Who did he fight? Was that Charles Oliveira again?
He
beat
him up. Crap. Yeah, that was the most impressive victory someone had over Charles Oliveira, in my opinion. And also, he's going to be fighting Dennis Seaver. Dennis Seaver had the win over Sotiropoulos that doesn't look that good in retrospect, because Sotiropoulos just lost to Dos Anjos. So I'm telling you,
won the fight against Seaver.
Why? Yeah, I absolutely think that. And I'm surprised. Yeah, I mean, he's a small guy. He got some decent striking. I mean, Wyman, he looked real good in that Cole Miller fight. So I was, I wasn't surprised about how any of that fight went. I scored it for him. I mean, he didn't dominate the third round. I think he kind of gave the third round to Seaver, but
second round,
I don't know.
Probably a 10-8.
Yeah, I mean,
he was on his back getting beat up the whole time. He didn't do anything. He didn't get up.
It's difficult because of how different people score that shit. It's like, what is a 10-8? Was John Fitch third round against BJ Penn a 10-8 or not?
I would probably give it a 10-8, and I said BJ won the first two rounds, so I had that as a draw.
That was why it was a draw. I forget if the second round was close. I think he really surprised Fitch with those takedowns.
That was hilarious, though.
Yeah, it's like, I'm like, dude, you're fighting him like GSP fought you, like the first and second time, or the first.
When he took him down, though, I jumped up. I was like, yes, because I like BJ Penn. I think almost everyone likes BJ Penn, and I think most people do not really care for John Fitch.
He was studying like Kane or Czech Congo when he fought Paul Benatello. He's like, yeah, I've been losing. I'm gonna take a guy down and elbow him in his knee or whatever the fuck.
Czech Congo pissed me off in that fight. I lost it. I literally got pissed off.
Yeah, he leaves a bad people's taste in the mouth because the groin kicks. I think he fucked up his fight when he grabbed a cage against, I believe the dude's name's Travis Brown.
He lost against Travis Brown. I had that fight. He pretty much almost won that fight without.
That was a draw.
That was stupid. He won it, I think, especially with the point going. That was idiotic. They just didn't want to give Czech Congo a loss or something like that.
Yeah, sometimes it got to be more of a blatant like fence pull, like when Chris Lieben fought Terry Martin. I'm like, dude, he was literally grabbing a fence so he wouldn't get slammed, and that basically saved Chris Lieben the match. But that's a blatant pull. I think when it like hurts someone to the point where they don't win the fight, it's a little crazy. But rules are rules, so what are you gonna do? But we've been talking about all types of shit. So the Strikeforce card, I was partying the other day, but I came home and I watched most of the fights except probably the Pat Healy fight, which I'm very impressed with him. He's been winning.
That was a good fight.
How'd you like that fight? Could you tell me about it?
The guy came out. He was throwing a lot of strikes. The other guy, I can't remember his name, Maximongo or something, Blanco.
Yeah, because Pat Healy before the fight was saying that dude's a roid head or whatever.
Was he? He's tiny.
Just.
He was tiny for a lightweight.
He said he hurts the rumor. I think he was saying it because he's a foreign guy, and they just think that all those guys do roids. That's just what Pat Healy said.
Well, he did, but he was messing up Pat Healy kind of, but his strikes didn't look like they hurt him. He was hitting a lot, but they weren't like really hurting him. And he eventually actually got like Healy had him in like some sort of submission hold, leg hold or something, and he threw a bunch of illegal kicks. I mean, they looked like they kind of hurt for a second, and he ended up getting back and. I was like, oh, that might have messed him up. They took a point, and then Healy ended up getting the submission anyways. He fought Josh Thompson, and it was a close fight.
Oh, yeah, he almost had Josh Thompson. Yeah, I like him. He seems like a very durable guy, and he's just another guy that's like on his way to being a possible name in Strikeforce, and it's like they're not even building the brand. And what I guess UFC is going to want to get out of that Showtime deal. That's what this all got to be about, and like. A guy like him might get lost in the shuffle at 155. I mean, we're just telling each other how much it fucking rotates around.
The problem is, though, Pat Healy, I think, is one of those guys that was like a journeyman who would fight at 170, weight classes that really weren't his weight. Him at 155 is good, just like Brian Ebersol. His record, you look at his record, you're like, what the hell, he lost a lot, but he wasn't even fighting, he was fighting at higher weight classes. That happens a lot, is those journeymen, they fight at weight classes they don't want to fight at, they take fights at short notice, they get messed up, they get bad records, but the thing about a journeyman is they always can pull a win out of their ass and beat somebody you would never think they could beat.
Another thing is they probably like not losing weight, and that's what's killing me about Paul Daly. Like he was overweight at Bama the other day,
heard that.
And I don't even know if he fought yet. I can't remember if he's fighting today or if he fought yesterday.
He won, I think he fought.
Yeah, I'm just like, dude, what is this doing for you? I'm like, why don't you just fight people at catch weights? I'm like, you're 6 pounds overweight almost every time in those other places, or a little bit more.
He's not even a huge welterweight.
And he denied it. He's like a stocky guy, kind of like Doomsday.
Yeah.
Just like short and stocky, but or not. I don't think he's as short, but
or stocky as Doomsday.
he needs to fucking just like, hey, let's have a catchweight fight. I mean, he obviously, I think it's kind of disrespectful in his own country that he doesn't want to put in the work that he would do in the States. But maybe they're not prudes and look down on him or bitch about it. Maybe they'll just like him no matter what.
Less of a cheer for him because of that. Didn't seem like they were that impressed with Paul Daly not making the weight and stuff. It seemed like they were kind of getting a little ticked off about it.
I mean, I would, and what he needs to be concerned about is coming back and getting a big win in Strikeforce. Who the hell did he just lose to in Strikeforce? Oh,
Woodley.
Yeah, fuck Woodley. 2 middle fingers up to you, but I mean, he can kick my ass. He does some impressive things, and maybe he fought the right way he should have against a guy like Paul Daly. But what was he doing in that fight that was kind of pissing us off? I forget.
I don't remember. Oh, wasn't he doing the 3 thing where he put his hand down so he wouldn't get a knee?
That might have been him. I mean, so many people do that, and a big shout out to Don Young Kim for doing that. And if anyone's a fan, don't be a mark. And like, I remember when Nick Diaz went out and said, "Oh, my brother beat Gray Maynard." Like, I don't know about that one. It was a close fight.
Nate Diaz and Gray Maynard was a very close fight. I don't think any of them did enough to win the fight, but didn't Gray Maynard get some takedowns at the end or something?
Something like that. And my point was that Nate Diaz, in my estimation, beat Don Young Kim.
I agree.
He was fighting off his back, and Young, if I'm saying his name right, Young Kim or whatever, he fucking cheated. Don't do the 3-point. I mean, if you don't want to fucking get kneed in the face, pull guard real quick and give up the position. Don't take away someone's striking technique because you want to play like you're a fucking guard.
It's a bullshit rule. I think I think that both your hands should have to be ground. Like that, they should change that rule.
Yeah, it created controversy in the WEC with Jamie Varner and Cowboy Cerrone. It's just like he puts it down there. Cerrone even misses him, and he loses the fight because of it. I mean, the momentum was going his way. Was he losing that fight? Did he? If the fight was just ended for no reason, yeah, Cowboy deserved to lose that one. He actually won the fucking rematch because it showed he's a better fighter. Momentum swung his fucking way. I don't know.
That was, a rule I can't stand. Okay, if you're on your back and the guy's on top of you, you should be able to kick him. You should be able to kick when they're on top of you if they are down. I mean, You don't have, like, I know it's a lot of momentum in force. You know when Anderson Silva got the DQ from Yusuke Okami originally? That's just DQ. He's on his fucking back, man. I mean,
but I don't.
He's soccer kicking the guy above him.
What I don't understand is the difference. You're allowed to kick a certain way up, but not while you're cut. Is it not while you're
not when they're knees down.
Like, yeah. So if Anderson Silva was on his knees and I kicked him in his face, like, do I get penalized? But if he's standing up and he's bending down trying to punch me, I can kick him, right?
As long as if 3 of his limbs are on the ground, you can't. But if you're laying on your back and he's on top of you, punching the shit out of you, and his knees are both on the ground, you can't upkick him.
Oh, I see. Because they're just trying to get the position to maybe punch you. It's such a disadvantage. People got to understand how much leverage in having someone in mount, like what that creates, or even if they're like someone's even in an advantage. I don't care if you got full guard. It's like they can still deck you in the face. It's like you got to use your tools. So I guess the way to go always is the elbows, but some people can't. They might not have that skill from the bottom. Like that was like War Machine and that who was that dude he fought? It was a real bloody match. Like that dude was elbowing the shit out of him, and the War Machine actually came back. But what was the next fight? I gotta fucking get my.
Pat Healy. It was Didn't they do the who was it? It was I think it was King Mo versus Roger Gracie.
Oh, that dude. That was like a fucking beating, like punches that looked like fucking. He
went numb, man. He went limp.
Yeah, that fucking looked like Sakuraba getting beat up.
I don't think they should have. That was kind of they fed him to the dogs. I mean, King Mo was probably considered a top 10 on the like 9 or 10, probably.
He had like 2 like his fight against Musashi wasn't that impressive. I mean, the takedowns were, but that
was one of those fights where it was like arguable because he got the shit. His eyes got swollen shut.
Yeah, that makes sense. But that wasn't from an eye poke, was it?
No, he was getting punched in the face and elbowed from his being on him. Musashi was elbowing him from his back.
Yeah, I mean, but Roger Gracie had a couple wins, and then Muhammad Lawal takes him out. He's a marketable guy. He's being very outspoken about Strikeforce, so hopefully UFC picks up on that, and hopefully, what I would like to see, I'm like, dude, we can't beat around the bush. These guys are leaving this company, and him and Rampage had an altercation in a van.
I want to see him fight. Yeah, I seen that. He told him that his why the hell would he get tattoos because he's so black no one can see him anyways.
Who, Rampage said that?
I think he said that to him.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Rampage hates black people.
Rampage talks to everybody, though.
Yeah,
but it's a joke, though.
No, but okay, Jordan's just a happy-go-lucky, hillbilly-looking white guy. Not really a hillbilly, like Western guy. And dude, Rampage called him sardine at most. Kind of just laughed. He seems to have some anger with some of these other black dudes. I mean, I'm just reading too much into shit.
Like Rashad, Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think
that's about it, though. I mean, he never talked shit about Kevin Randleman, did he? He said that motherfucker hits hard. I think it's just really those two because they're friends, And John Jones was, with Rashad too at one point.
Wasn't Rampage in the booth when Kevin Randleman slammed? Fedor. Yeah, that was amazing. Just moving on. I don't know how much time we have left. Not that we're on a time. It is. Basically, Dave, I got to test this on that who's hosting us, and hopefully the file can go through. I don't know if I have to render it. I'll have to look for some software. Sorry, folks, for talking about stuff like that. Luke Rockhold beat Jacare.
Jacare? Soju?
Yeah, Jacare, yeah, my bad. God damn. Another guy, steps up and becomes the man. I mean,
it's a close fight.
Yeah, Jacare had a couple big wins in Strikeforce, really branded himself, and now Rockhold was on what? Those challenger cards, perhaps?
Yeah, I never even watched this fight, to be honest. He's from AKA, though.
They went 4-0.
That's a camp to be on the look for. There's Black House and what is it? Greg Jackson's camp people talk about, but AKA's been doing very well.
Yeah, another reason bringing up AKA, Mike Kyle was on the undercard. I wish I had HD net, but I mean, again, I wasn't home. I was getting hammered that day. But Mike Kyle, I think he's very, very impressive. I mean, I'm not going to say like, oh, this dude's going to be a fucking champion, but he's a guy that I like watching fighting.
Mike Kyle's great at light heavyweight. He even takes fights at heavyweights and wins them sometimes. So, he's underrated. He's the guy who took fights he shouldn't have.
Yeah, and he went the distance this time, and I don't know if he went the distance during his Strikeforce tenure. I'll have to look that up. And another thing, Cavalcante, he was on the undercard, man.
That's weird.
What the fuck are they doing?
I don't know.
Yeah, and he's fighting a guy like Yoel Romero Palacio. Like,
yeah.
I
don't know who that guy is either.
I mean, no disrespect to the guy, but I'm like, Cavalcante just fought Dan Henderson and shit like that.
It was a good fight, too. That was an entertaining fight.
Oh, hell yeah. Dan Henderson gets in danger in his fights.
He's not scared to throw a caution to the wind. I mean, he got messed up in the Fedor fight for a second. He got messed up in that fight. He always gets messed up, but a lot of the time he comes out on top.
It's because he got that testosterone replacement therapy neck.
I was going to mention that because, that's what Chael Sonnen did too, and that's what Nate Marquardt got kicked out for.
Yeah, I mean, but it seems like Nate might be the only one who did it wrong, unless the Pennsylvania Athletic Commission is looking into things a little bit better. Because I don't know, I've heard conflicting reports about Chael Sonnen. Was his levels over, or was he just caught with testosterone replacement therapy, even though he admitted it before I believe he took his test?
Yeah, it's all foggy. All those different athletic commissions are all different. Some hate certain people. Like the California that hates Josh Barnett.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to give him one. Ever. Not gonna
they shouldn't. He can just keep fighting in Texas or whatever. Oh, he fought in Cincinnati. Yeah, he fights in it's not, I don't think it's in Ohio. Where's the Arnold Classic? Is that in Cleveland?
I don't remember. I think so. He just fought in Cincinnati, though.
Yeah, that was the other day. Moving on to Daniel Cormier versus Antonio Silva, who's been red hot. Became a top 10 heavyweight fighter, Antonio Silva. Just really hot. And Daniel Cormier has just been, everyone's been talking about all the talent he has, but he was another Strikeforce Challengers guy.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that victory? And God, how good did his hands look? I mean, I know he's against
Munson.
Yeah. I think I missed that fight, and I didn't care to because Monson's just like one of those kind of guys. I knew he was going to lose. You know what I mean? I mean, no disrespect to the guy. He's been around for a while, but
he took that fight on short notice, and I was like, he's not going to make it.
Yeah, and he openly admits to taking steroids, which is...
He said he used to. I don't know if he does anymore.
Yeah, it just makes his camp look bad, especially when Antonio Silva was in his camp. But very impressive. Looked like he knocked him out cold, showed some killer instinct by going in, and he should have. I mean, you're fighting a fucking giant. Like, I don't care. That's a situation where I'm going if the ref pulls me off, because if you end up under Antonio Silva, you're going to the fucking hospital.
No shit, dude. Barnett said it's all going to come down to if Bigfoot can get the takedown, he won't be able to, and he will lose, because the fights he can't get the takedown, he loses. And he's right. And, he couldn't get that guy down, and Cormier looked so good. Like, even when he went for that shoot, he just grabbed him by the neck and, just threw him down. Fedor did that one time, too, when he, tried to get him. He grabbed him by the neck and ended up laying on top of him. But Fedor messed up in that beginning of that second round like an idiot. Just threw that stupid punch and just got taken down. It was over. But, yeah. Cormier had better takedown defense, and Fedor doesn't have game plans. That's what it looks like lately. Yeah,
the thing about Antonio Silva, folks, is despite people thinking he's all size, I think he showed some skills. I think he outstruck Andrei Arlovsky, not saying that that's a big deal. He had a very entertaining stand-up jiu-jitsu match with Fabricio Verdum, and what he did against Fedor speaks for itself. And the Mike Kyle thing, he showed that he can get in trouble and come back. It's just he couldn't come back from the trouble he got in the Daniel Cormier matchup.
Give him a chance. He kept tagging him every once in a while. That was bad. He messed him up right away.
And I want you to school me on something. Give me the prime definition of this. And I know people probably hate me for this. What exactly is catch wrestling, and why do you feel I do not exactly know what that is?
My understanding about catch wrestling is it's more of like a brutal submission type deal. That's all I really know, and I never really caught on to it that much, and I never actually, the only MMA fighter I know who's a catch wrestling specialist is Josh Barnett, and you can tell it's kind of strange involving these little bit of trip takedowns. That's all I understand. I'm not an expert on it, The only fighter I ever watched with catch wrestling was Josh Barnett, and I enjoy his style. I think it's kind of unique and different, and it's a little strange. I mean, it involves submissions, it involves trips and takedowns and stuff like that. More so using their body weight against them. I'm not really sure necessarily what it would be defined as. You know?
Yeah, he looked to me, if I was guessing without someone giving me the definition, I was like, is it because he tripped him and like are they calling it catch? Because right away he got him full mounted, like his full body weight was right on him mount. It was like unbelievable, and he was getting like it was another nice back and forth match. Like
Sturgeon had coming off as terrifying on his feet.
Yeah. I mean, he looked like if he would have launched one of those rights into his face, Barnett could have been in trouble. But Barnett, yeah, heavyweights can knock someone out because how big they are, but they're also big guys. It's not Joe Blow down the street that's 110 pounds with a skinny neck. It's like that dude is a big guy. He hangs with professional wrestlers, and they probably trade shit in the locker room like in the movie The Wrestler. Just kidding. But it was definitely a good card. In like Dana White, when he first went to when he first went to Strikeforce, he's wearing a shirt and all that shit, supporting him. It's like, was he on Twitter? Like, I don't know. Like, was he supporting this?
I don't.
Why not?
And I don't even think he watched the Fedor fight when he was.
Yeah, that one I understood. I'm like, okay, he doesn't co-promote, so he didn't support M1.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That made complete sense to me, but with what they're doing with Strikeforce, it just makes it look like the lower level league. WEC never even got this treatment. Actually, at the end of WEC, it looked like Dana White was putting more into it, and they got a pay-per-view. I won't say Dana White, UFC and the Fertitta brothers and everybody. It just seems like a more positive situation. I think this all has to do with Showtime, because now the M1's out of the picture, basically. I can't see why they're bastardizing the show with the quality of programs they put on. If there's ever a best of Strikeforce like DV, if they just compile it from day one to now, I'd be pretty impressed with it. It's one of my favorite leagues ever.
The thing is, let's put it this way. I always watch the pay-per-views with my friends, and my parents will watch them too, We sit there and watch them all. Me, my friends, my mom, my parents, my mom, my dad. And you know what? During a lot of the UFC events, my friends, after working all week, and my parents, they fall asleep. I stay up for everything. They doze off during the UFC event sometimes. Some of those GSP fights, they fall asleep.
Oh, it gets boring.
Fall asleep during Strikeforce.
I was dating a girl, and it was George St. Pierre's probably most impressive performance as of late against Josh Koscheck.
Yeah.
And she's just getting restless because it's the end of the night. That's when they weren't starting at 9 o'clock, and
right.
You get GSP. It's going 5 rounds, and the whole card I think was going long. And I just remember telling her, I'm like, babe, this is definitely going 5 rounds. It's GSP we're dealing with. So I mean, hey, to each his own, but he's not the guy I want to buy every time.
I agree. They better stack the card like this card coming up, doesn't it? It's got Nick Diaz versus BJ Penn on there, and it's got who else is on there? I can't remember. There's a couple heavyweight fights, isn't there?
Mm-mm. Oh, is that the one Mitch Jones fighting Congo on?
I can't remember. It's that one, and Roy Nelson versus Crow Cop.
Yeah. Oh my God, Roy Nelson's gonna win that.
Roy Nelson's gonna KO him.
You don't think it's going to the floor?
No. I think that Crow Cop, he used to be the shit. He's falling far, man. You get old. I'm gonna check right now what the UFC 137 has in store.
Yeah, I should have checked on Wiki. That's why it's taking me a while to get to it. 137, St. Pierre versus Condit.
Check Congo, Mitrione, Crow Cop, Nelson, Root. This is some guy.
Oh, this is definitely worth the price of admission. God, I'm interested in the Jeff Curran. Scott Jorgensen's one of my favorite fighters on that card. Oh, Donald Cerrone, easily top 5 most exciting fighters in the company, in my opinion.
Gets another chance because Thiago Silva tested positive for those roids, and he's fighting Elliot Marshall, who's going to get knocked out.
You think Elliot Marshall's going to get knocked out by Vera?
I'm going to say yeah.
I think Vera has confidence issues. I mean, who am I to say this? I'm just some guy from Total Creek, guys. He would kick my fucking legs off, but he needs to be more of a killer in the ring.
Oh, no.
Against mediocre competition, he is good, though. It's the names.
I think he's going to beat Elliot Marshall. I think he's going to knock him out.
Yeah, he'll definitely beat him. Tim Crater's coming off of a knockout. Yeah, this card's way down the line. We'll probably talk about that sometime again. And I guess the last thing we can talk about is you want to do some predictions for the Jake Ellenberger card?
I don't even know what to think about this card. I'm looking at it. I don't know. Those are hard predictions because I mean, a lot of those guys are coming off. Alan Belcher's been hurt for a while. I'm looking at the card right now, and Court McGee, he's hard to predict.
Yeah, Jason McDonald's an entertaining fighter, and if it goes to the ground, he's always a fun guy to watch scrap down there. I think Alan Belcher's going to take him out. Jonathan Brookins fighting Eric Koch, who's actually a devastating striker, I believe, and from the WEC. I'll give it to Brookins. He just looked really good against Michael Johnson, who I think is going to be a phenomenal lightweight down the line.
I'm not going to even make a prediction on that one, but I'm going to think Alan Belcher is going to win that one. And I don't really know this. The guy that called this guy, what is his name? The Ox. I'm not familiar with his record. I've never seen him fight. He's fought twice in UFC, it looks. I've never seen him fight, so I can't even make a prediction on that one.
You calling the Ox? This Asian guy?
Yeah, his nickname's the Ox. That's all I knew about him.
He looks like a scrub for an Ultimate Fighter guy to beat. I mean, again, when I say scrub, because I never want to come off as self-righteous. I mean, these guys are all pretty impressive athletes that have the guts just to step in the ring. And Jake Ellenberger lost his father / manager this weekend. So. Oh yeah, that's what I meant to say. Okay, keep track. Yeah, Jake Ellenberger's father is probably well, unless he passed away already. I definitely feel for Shields. He didn't pull out a fight, which is honorable, and sometimes you got to deal with stuff, and like he can make more money. It's probably better to deal with the situation a month down the line and just get the fight over with and make his money. But he hasn't looked that good in the UFC. To me, Martin Kampmann beat him.
It was a close fight.
It was definitely a close fight. Mark Kampmann came out of it looking better, and it just left a bigger bad taste in my mouth when Kampmann.
Cardio looked like poop in that fight, though.
What'd you say?
Shields had bad cardio in that fight. He was used to fighting at 185, I believe, before. I think that cardio kind of messed him up a bit. That's what I think it was. Yeah,
because I think he went to 185 properly, and I think he probably gained a lot of muscle.
So yeah, they cut.
And when because I mean, a lot of people didn't think he'd be a good 185er. Then he goes up and did a couple of good things. I mean, beating Robbie Lawler ain't that big of a deal anymore, but he weathered the storm against Dan Henderson. Looked good in that. Went 5 rounds. He may have went 5 rounds against Mayhem. But Mayhem made the fight more entertaining when he's like throwing his hands in the air and acting like a monkey in the fucking ring.
That fight was crap, though.
Yeah, it was crap, except for the little moment where Mayhem made you think like it could be exciting if what's his name wouldn't lay on him.
Blanket too.
God damn, it's like, why the fuck do people do that? Don't lay down, man. Fucking take the loss if you ain't gonna fight.
The thing is, though, I mean, some guys blanket guys. Like Barnett was on top of Hardatonov, but he was punching him. He submitted him. He ended the fight. It was all entertaining. Not one point was I bored. I thought it was a very exciting fight. Brock Lesnar gets on top of a guy. He slugs him in the face. 95% of the guys that get on top of somebody are pounding the shit out of them, or trying to finish it, or trying to move, or trying to do something.
Yeah, it makes me wonder. I'm like, when you're in dominant position, I mean, you probably got good. A lot of these guys might have good jiu-jitsu defense. It's like, what the fuck you do? You're in a dominant position. You think they're just gonna fucking armbar you? Fight it. You're fucking like someone like Clay Guida's strong as fuck. Fight it. I don't know. I mean, but then they say, that's their version. It might not be a submission, but just that pressure, and wrestling is about control. So I mean, maybe the wrestler, I mean, they grew up doing that shit, so they might analyze it completely different than a fan sitting in the seats trying to be entertained.
Yeah, I would never boo at an event, though. I always hear people booing. I'm like, come on.
Yeah, you got to enjoy it. I mean, if it was 3 rounds, I mean, like a fight like Doomsday versus Matt Brown, I thought it was a little 2 guys trying to save their job. That's when I was at the event. But then I went home, I was like, these guys are trying different things. The 3rd round ended with some submission attempts. It was a back and forth battle that Doomsday might have actually won if you analyze the scoring. I don't know, but I think we covered a lot. We covered the Strikeforce event. There's always stuff coming up, so like anytime we want to do a show, basically we can predict and do pre-shows for anything. Last thing I might as well say is the Ultimate Fighter coming after it? Because usually around a fight night, Ultimate Fighter pops up. Is that going to be on Spike TV soon?
I don't know. Are they doing it Spike, or do you think it'll end up on Fox?
No.
It's,
Fox is
too
going
far
to.
down the line.
Fox's first Ultimate Fighter is going to be live. I don't even think they have coaches or anything set for that yet, so that'll probably come sometime after the next Ultimate Fighter. But so the Ultimate Fighter's coming up. A lot of UFC events, from stuff on Versus, Fox, pay-per-view, and still even Spike TV, including my boy Chris Leben in an important middleweight match, or semi-important, like to make it a top 5 perhaps, against Munez. But I'd like to thank you for stopping on the show, and hopefully we can do this all the time, and hopefully a lot of people enjoyed the show. And if anyone has any requests, I don't even care if you ever want to be on the show. If there's a way I can record 3 people at the same time, I'd even have a guest on. Da-da-da-da-da. I just mumbled.
I was wondering what that was. I thought there was going to be something after. I was like,
No, the reason I did that is because, like, when I've been practicing my sound on my mic, because I feel stupid, like, hello, this is Russ Rutter, and I like pretend like someone else is there just to like fuck around with the sound, and then I go da 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 because I feel stupid because I'm not really talking about anything. So my mistake for the dead air.
oh, they got John Fitch and Matt. Johnny Hendricks.
Oh yeah, that's the one thing we didn't talk about. Sorry, guys, I keep bogarting you on quitting the show or ending the show, but John Fitch and fighting an under-the-radar guy when he really wanted to fight big names. But I think Johnny Hendricks deserves a matchup like this. Do I think he's going to win? He's a fucking collegiate wrestler with knockout power.
I hope he wins.
He finishes more guys, so I mean, it could look in his favor. John Fitch, I don't know how good his collegiate wrestling was, but the bottom line is he looks good at wrestling MMA. So we'll see how that match goes. But I guess we're gonna get going until next time. I don't know what days are best for you, but I'm sure we'll have a show again, and maybe one day we'll try to have a set day and time for when we put up the shows. But I don't know. I'm the legendary Runk,
Mr. Parka,
and this is Bloody Canvas Radio.